Hey Sanjana, how
Hi,
are
hi
you?
Priyansh. I'm
Hey,
good.
I'm
I'm good.
super awesome. Thank you very much for joining me today to talk about your journey to getting into some of the top B schools out there. So, Sanjana, with every applicant, what I would like them to start with is a quick background or a profile so people know, what kind of background you had, who you are, and just, what you're aspiring for.
Yeah, absolutely. I would call myself as someone who's from a non-traditional MBA background. That perception has changed during the course of this process, and I'll speak about it more later. But that's what I thought going in. Being a lawyer, I do feel probably I was not the largest representative in the candidate pool. So that was a little more daunting, I would say. I have 7 years of experience, so I was kind of looking to capitalize on that experience while applying to B schools. So I work as a corporate lawyer, and I think that has actually helped me, but we'll talk about that more.
Okay, super. And then when you decided that now you want to explore this business elements and you decided now the MBA is the right path for it, why did you decide to work with a consultant? Why did you think that you needed help in this whole path?
Okay. Well, initially, I thought the GMAT is the hardest part of getting through an MBA, and I was so mistaken. Like, once I did the GMAT and I started looking at application requirements, I was like, oh, maybe GMAT was the easier part because you know exactly what you need to study and what you need to do. So, once I started exploring application requirements of different universities, I was thinking of targeting. I thought I really need someone who can help me consolidate my thoughts because every time you read a question, there could be 100 types of answers you think might work, might not work. And then, like I said, because I wasn't the typical candidate that chooses to do an MBA, I wasn't sure how to tell my story and how to make it make sense to them. So I really felt like I need someone who can guide me through that process, who can help me orient my story towards an MBA program. And I think it was the right choice to make.
Perfect. And you said that you were, when you decided to work with a consultant, why did you choose to work with LilacBuds specifically? What about you? What about us made you feel comfortable? Like, hey, I think these guys would be the right fit for my process of
So
application.
I was looking for consultants like anyone would over the internet, and I thought I should speak to them, once to understand what it is that they offer, how informed are they. And when I spoke to the representative at Lilac Bud, I think she took me through the entire options that I have, how much time I need to invest, and they were very honest about it. They were very informed about it, and I felt like I would be in safe hands if I choose them. The others were more vague with their approach or were not able to grasp my profile as quickly as the Lilac Buds representative did. So I think that gave me the confidence to then go ahead with Lilac Buds.
Got it. Okay. Thank you. So moving on, right now you started your application process, you started sessions with our team, you started
Mhm.
exploring universities. Uh, Tell us, I think, for the audience again, which universities did you shortlist, why you probably shortlisted them, and also, of course, share your admit.
Yeah, sure. So I think the shortlisting part was not that easy, but I discussed it a lot with you also, Priyesh. Should I apply here? Should I not apply there? And once you do those discussions, looking at the ranking table, anyone can do. But then you really understand the type of profile you have, which MBA would appreciate it the most, or which MBA would be able to kind of enhance it the most, right? There could be finance focused MBAs, there could be tech focused MBAs. So, really understanding which MBA suits you, I think is a very crucial aspect of choosing the right university and then actually getting into that university. So I think you helped me a lot with that process. I came with a bunch of options which we then shortlisted. So that was super helpful actually. And I think the shortlisting process, I would say, is very important because if you don't choose the right schools, you're probably not even going to end up with an admit.
Absolutely, and that is so well said, honestly. A lot of students who worked with us in the past and, who did not make it the first time in the first round of applications, what we found out was that the schools they were applying to were not looking for people with either those backgrounds or with those similar career plans. And what you
Yeah.
mentioned with tech focused schools versus finance focused versus consulting focused schools, every program brings a niche and they care about
Yeah.
certain kind of candidates. While you are somebody with a law background, which is already making you unique, right? And we
Hmm.
had shared some examples of a prior applicant as well. I remember with you. What
Yeah.
stands out is the choice of countries that you chose as well, right? You applied to Australia, you applied to UK, and going into those programs, why, having that law background, looking at where you wanted to go, how much of an overlap in terms of transferable skills would be there as well, are all
Yeah.
aspects of refining and identifying the right program. Uh,
Yeah.
so you applied, I mean, I think you didn't announce the school, so maybe you want to do that.
Yeah. I have admits from Oxford University in the UK and Melbourne Business School in Australia, both of which were schools that I was very keenly targeting. And I think I'll choose to go to Melbourne Business School, Australia, because um, there are just few things about the program, the class size that really appeal to me as compared to Oxford. So I'm awaiting that journey this September, and I'm quite excited for it.
And the cherry on the top, the scholarship is also one of the factors I'm
Yes,
guessing in the
yes,
whole journey.
yes.
All right, super.
Yeah.
No, of course. So I mean, I think it's a nice scholarship, and once again,
In fact,
congratulations
when I
on
was
that.
doing my in fact, when I was doing my MBA application, it's always good to mention if you've gotten scholarships in the past. I hadn't. Now I have. So in my future applications, if any, I have a scholarship to mention because it's always good to have that. So I'm happy about that.
Cool. Yes, of course. I mean, and a lovely scholarship, right? Like, see, I think it's important that they saw merit. Scholarship in MBA in a Melbourne Business School is not that simple to come around. And I think
Mhm.
just in general, what I've noted is Australia is been, a little they haven't been really open in terms of giving large scholarships. But this is always a amazing feeling to get a good scholarship from a top school. So
Yeah.
lovely, and once again, congratulations on that too. Moving on, right? I think through the journey, you were writing these essays. You were part of the process. Which part of the whole process that you worked with us, you felt, really benefited in terms of how you were thinking? Tell me about a moment where you felt like, hey, this is what I was not thinking about, or a reflection that, sparked a new thought process in you, or about, increased your readiness for the university you were
Yeah.
applying.
I think there were two main things. One is, you do think you really know yourself, but when you have to put yourself down in the form of an essay on paper, you really struggle to find the events and the stories and the highlights that would mean something. So, I mean, you guys take out the time to patiently listen to who I am as a person overall and then help me understand which parts of that story need to go on paper. So I think getting the story right would have been almost impossible done by myself because your experience does come into play when you have to identify what needs to be highlighted, right? I could be thinking something completely else. And also, I mean, it was really helpful that you made me think. I think the content gathering stage was really helpful because that is what brings out the uniqueness in my application or what would not be found in some other applicant's application, right? So having all those content gathering sessions where we then identified how I should present myself, that was something I didn't know would be a part of the process, honestly. I thought, okay, we'll write down some essays and we'll get over it. But now any interview I have to give, for instance, I feel like I know myself so much better in general to be able to answer those questions because I know my highlights, I know what works for me, I know what my weaknesses are. So I think that process could be very incomplete without having you on board. And I think the second part was, everyone thinks we'll do an MBA and then figure it out. They have a broad idea of what they want to do after the MBA, but
Yeah.
actually thinking about your post MBA goals in that much detail, making them sound achievable, thinking of the path of how you're going to achieve them. And I think this was particularly true for the Oxford application. They really want to know what you're going to do after your MBA. They even want to know what you want to do if your first plan doesn't succeed. So I think having that clarity, understanding post MBA goals and paths in that sense also requires inputs and experience that you have seen across candidates. Like you said, you also had a law background candidate earlier. So you can always help with those insights and what are the options that one has or how I can tailor my own options. So I think those two paths would have been quite impossible just by myself, or at least to the standard that I've, written them down now.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And again, it makes me so happy that you felt that, you realized a lot about yourself and reflected on
Yeah.
your own skills.
Yeah,
And that
absolutely.
that that gives me such a warm, cozy feeling that, hey, that's exactly what we want you to achieve as well, right? We just don't want you to get
Mhm.
an admit. We want to really know where you want to go
Yeah.
and why you want to go there and what makes you ready to go there. And there's not like an arbitrary decision that I've taken without
Yeah.
much reflection on whether I'm ready for it, right? Like today, if I come back and say, hey, instead of being a counselor, I would like to be playing international level cricket. Have I really prepared myself for something like that? The same thing. A lot of applicants are a bit arbitrary about their goals. They're not intentional or purposeful in terms of the steps they've taken towards reaching those goals. And that's where I
Yeah.
think showcasing what you've already done, what skills you'll transfer from your existing work at a law firm to your future consulting profiles or the goals that you
Yeah.
have. And specifically, even if it's in the finance area, etc., how would you leverage some of the knowledge that you've already gained through the transactions
Yeah.
you might have completed
Yeah.
into a bank, maybe for that matter, and those
Yeah.
aspects really play an important role. Thank you. Uh,
I think there were also two misconceptions that you guys helped me clear, because I think if you just go on the internet and type random things, people will tell you, don't say you want to be a consultant after your MBA. MBA schools don't look at it fondly, but it's not really that. They just want to know that you're actually serious about it. What have you, like you said, what have you done to already prepare yourself for that, and how will you get there? So I think this is a question I also had. Should I write something completely out of the box so that they like me more? You said no, just be honest and actually, get the story honestly and realistically in there. And I think the second misconception was, I think, of course, it's better to apply in prior rounds. But if
yeah,
you have a strong application, I mean, don't stop yourself from applying just because you missed, say, the first round deadline of a school. So I think that is another thing I was very scared of. And you did help me, kind of figure that you need to get your application right. First round is a preference, but not, the end of the world.
I'm so excited. You're kind of like, it's kind of like you're mirroring all my thoughts. And I just feel so happy that, maybe I should ask you to come and join me in my consulting practice right now. It's that amazing. But yeah, absolutely right. Just bang on both the points that you made in terms of the
Yeah.
misconceptions. Okay, I don't think I need to ask you for final words of advice. You already left two brilliant points out
Yeah.
there for people to think
Yeah.
about. Like, there's no round which is perfect. Which whenever you are ready and you feel that there's a round I should
Mhm.
apply for, that's the one to go with. And
Yeah.
do not believe
Agreed.
everything you read on the internet. Be authentic in your
Yeah.
story. I think both those points.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think Sanjana, once again, congratulations. Lovely working
Thank you
with
so
you.
much. Yeah. Same here. Same here, Presh. Thank you so much.
Yes. Have a wonderful evening and wishing you the best as you start your journey at Melbourne.
Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated.